Imagine a world where corporate executives are held accountable for IT failures, where social responsibility isn't just a buzzword, but a legal requirement.
That's mind-blowing, but how did we get here?
It all started with the Companies Act 2013. This act was not just a simple update. It fundamentally reshaped Indian company law and aimed to enhance corporate governance.
Exactly. The act received presidential assent on August 29, 2013, but it didn't go into effect all at once. The implementation happened in stages, which is quite intriguing.
What do you mean by stages?
Well, Section 1 took effect the very next day, with major changes rolling out on September 12, 2013, and then more sections by April 1, 2014.
And don't forget, the act led to the establishment of the National Company Law Tribunal and the National Financial Reporting Authority, enhancing scrutiny of financial practices.
So this act is like an overhaul of the entire corporate landscape in India.
Absolutely. It made a landmark shift, particularly in the tech sector, strengthening safeguards against cybercrime.
That's really significant. What about corporate governance?
A key component is corporate social responsibility, or CSR.
Wait, CSR was mandatory for all companies?
Yes, Section 135 made it mandatory for large companies to commit at least 2% of their profits to CSR initiatives.
How did this change the landscape?
Before the act, CSR obligations were mostly limited to public sector companies. Now, every company that meets certain thresholds must actively contribute to societal welfare.
That's a game changer.
It really is, and it requires companies to establish a CSR committee, ensuring that the funds are used wisely.
Are there consequences for not complying?
Absolutely. Failing to meet those CSR obligations can lead to penalties, which raises the stakes for corporate responsibility.
Speaking of responsibilities, what about company secretaries?
Great point. Section 203 of the Act revolutionized the role of company secretaries, making them key managerial personnel.
Yes, and it mandated that every listed company and those with a paid-up capital above 10 crore must appoint a full-time company secretary.
That highlights the importance of compliance, doesn't it?
Exactly. These secretaries are now critical to ensuring that companies follow the law properly.
But does every company have to have one, or just larger ones?
Only those that meet specific criteria laid out in the Act. It empowers these professionals like never before.
So they become watchdogs of corporate governance.
Speaking of governance, let's dive into the types of companies defined by the Act.
I heard there are different kinds.
Absolutely. There are private and public limited companies, but also unique constructs like one-person companies, Section 8 companies, and producer companies.
One-person companies, how does that work?
They can be formed by a single member, and initially, only Indian citizens could be shareholders. But changes in 2020 opened that door to non-resident Indians as well.
That's fascinating. What's a Section 8 company?
These are nonprofit entities that focus on promoting social welfare and are governed specifically under the Act.
And producer companies.
They're specifically meant for farmers and agricultural purposes. Membership is limited to farmers only, which highlights their niche focus.
What a vast landscape. But how does this all play into the future of corporate India?
That's a compelling question. As we explore this topic further, the implications for future regulations and how companies will adapt are incredibly crucial.
Wow, I can't wait to hear more. What do you think the future holds?
Listeners, feel free to share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the evolving corporate landscape? Your insights could illuminate this journey.